Dear Diary, since moving to Makwasaugen, life's been amazing. Eric and Sarah are thriving at school and at hockey and at soccer, and Marie's stress levels have gone down since the church opened and now that she's only working at one pancake house. For a few months, I was happy. For the first time in my life, I was legitimately, truly happy. But that's gone. Nothing in my life has changed, nothing's different now, but I can't help but chase that hedonic treadmill. I look around Makwasaugen and I don't see the wonderful things I have here. Instead, I just see what else I can have, what else we can do, how we can improve. Like the rivers. All of us are crammed onto this side of the Andrew River. There's absolutely nothing other than a road on the east side. Maybe if we moved over there, we could have some breathing room. And there's no access to the rivers themselves either. Unless I'm driving along a bridge, I sometimes even forget the rivers exist. I talked to John, my boss at Luke Mills Lumber, and he told me that town council has plans for the area and that something big, something involving large quantities of local timber would be announced soon. Something to, and I quote, activate the waterfront. It better not be lakeshore condos. I swear to the gods, if it's Toronto-style lakefront condos, I'm moving to Florida. Hello world and welcome back. I am Karhu, the Great Bear of the North, and this is Makwasaugen, Ontario, in cities Skylines, but you already know that because you are by far the smartest crowd on all of YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. As you saw from the introduction, this is going to be a fairly busy episode, because west of the bay, we're already pretty much full in terms of the area that we can actually work on. It's either too hilly, or it's outside of our city bounds, or it's reserved for mining, or something like this. So instead, we're going to go, whoop, to the east side of the newly named Andrew River. Thank you very much, Andrew Kozmowski. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you very much for commenting on a previous video. So this river is now named after you. And what we're going to be working on today is a series of things. First of all, we're going to fill in some new residential area just up in here. We're also going to build a series of big box stores. I'm not looking forward to that. Right down here. And then we're also going to fill in all of this Makwasaugen River Park and actually connect it from Old Makwasaugen to, we'll call this downtown Makwasaugen for lack of a better term. And so I've already got the streets in, and it's important to note that whenever you're building a city, remember that the streets go somewhere. Streets are designed to take you from point A to point B. So this road, right down here, takes us from Old Makwasaugen, takes us through the new residential area, and then it continues out this way. And it will eventually sort of go up into this valley here and then off the map. So that's what that does. This yellow road down here will loop around the bay and continue going down this way. So that's the direction that it's taking. And this other yellow one will kind of go up here and it will join up with the highway somewhere around here to better get off the map, which is why we're also going to be placing some warehouses along this rail line because it's closer to the edge of the map for deliveries. And we've got some roads that kind of go up here that will connect over the river and join up to these farms up there. And yes, we also have a Finnish retirement community, but I'm going to wait to do that until the episode once we've got all of our high-density residential. So let's take a look at this residential area. And so we have a lot of 2x2, including even some 1x2? Oh, this is mostly 2x2 in this area, so let's start filling this in. And I don't want to get any 2x4 areas, so I'm not going to fill in this area because then that might end up giving us the small apartment buildings, which I don't want in this area. So I'm only going to fill up 2x2 or 2x3 at a time and leave gaps in between so that later on I can come back through and start to fill in some more of this this zoning. Just kind of fill in the gaps. So like, for example, this will come up as a 2x2, and then this will come up as a 2x2, and then once those are both done, then I can fill in this area as a 2x2, and it's not going to connect to either side. So it's basically going to be a series of just 2x2s and kind of this weird checkerboard pattern. We might have some 2x3s, and that's okay. I'm not super concerned with that. In fact, we might as well just end up with that 2x3 there at the beginning, and that's going to be a 2x3. So let me fill out all of this, and then I'll come right back. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The first phase of the new residential development has begun. Hopefully we should start to see people coming in fairly soon. Just a couple of things to note. One, this area right down here, this will end up becoming a park. I just haven't done that exactly yet. I know there's a school right there, and there's going to be another park right here, but I'm also planning on putting another park right here, and maybe even one somewhere up in this area. So there's going to be plenty of park access for these individuals. Also, I am making sure that nothing goes on these main arterial roads, because this is where we're going to end up building some commercial zones and things like this. Or we might even just let them be forested off to the side, just to give a little bit of a setback for the residential areas. So that's why we're not building anything within 2 tiles of these main roads. Same thing why we don't have anything on this Riverside Road, because, well, quite frankly, it's a busier street. It's got 4 lanes compared to the 2, so we're just trying to keep things a little bit calmer and quieter. I've also gone through and added some stop signs in certain areas just to make sure that things are a little bit more controlled. It also prevents people from wanting to go from, like, this side all the way down and across and using these as like east-west arterial routes, because there are stop signs fairly frequently, and you can't actually go from this side all the way over to this side on one road. You're gonna have to like zigzag and like go down this street and then turn again, and then like turn and then turn. So it's gonna be a little bit of a pain to get from one side to the other, but if you are on this side and you just need to get into this residential neighborhood, they are connected. There we go, and as you can see that this house is in, this house is in, and this house is in. So if I were to fill in this 2x2 area, it's not going to connect to any of the 3 houses that surround it, so it's perfectly fine to fill that in, and we should be okay. So as the rest of this neighborhood comes in, I'll slowly go through and start filling in the gaps. But you know what? Let's start adding those parks. I said I wanted to park right in this area. And I don't want it to be a playground because, well, we're going to have a playground right here at the school, and I'd rather people go up to the school. So let's have maybe a dog park right in here is a good connection, or maybe just a small park. Actually, that's almost the entirety of that square. That works. Let's see if we can't slide this over here for something that makes a little bit more sense in terms of the outside connections. There we go. I think that works just fine. And then we'll just connect with this right to there. Fantastic. There we go. I'm enjoying that. Yeah, I got some little plazas with trees in the middle, or with benches rather. And then let's just add in some trees here just to fill that out. Boom, just a little slice of heaven. Because if you'll note, the gap here, I didn't leave gaps between the rows. These are far denser areas than we have in old Makwasaugen, where there's gaps and there's weird curves, because this is designed to be the quote, downtown area. So it's going to be a lot more dense, so we're not going to have a lot of tree foliage built in the actual residential areas. So having explicit tree zones here is a super huge boon to the area. Now, if that's just a regular park with trees, and I know there's going to be a lot of entertainment along the waterfront, I think we need something like a dog park further up here. So let's add that. And where's a good place for it? None of these areas are wide enough for a dog park. So maybe, actually, oh no, because that's going to connect to the Makwasaugen River Park a little bit later on. So maybe, actually, there we go, right there. How does that? Yeah, I mean, we do have overlap with the other park down there, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, having multiple parks. Boom. Fantastic. That's good. And yes, I had to de-zone some residential areas, but you know what? They hadn't come in yet, so I'm okay with that. And then let's also make a little bit of just a passage going along here. Fantastic. Now people can just walk right back there, and it will be lovely. I hope that the people that live here like dogs. So we've had a number of new residents moving into this new residential area, specifically 462, but I noticed that we have more industrial demand than we do residential demand. So I'm thinking, let's go up to this warehouse area and start turning this into either a warehouse or a factory. And you know what? I'm specifically thinking that maybe this furniture factory, to take the products from Luke Mills Lumber and turn them into actual products, would be pretty nice. So let's take a road, let's make it perpendicular to the rail, and then let's see if we can't fit in this factory. Oh yeah, we absolutely can. And if we build it right here, right, then as you're driving along this main road, you can see this place for this WoodVision. And then here's where the actual factory work happens. And like the business side is right on the train tracks, so that actually makes sense. If you go along a lot of train tracks, you will find that most of them are flanked by industry, because they're not really concerned with the noise as much. And while we're at this, we might as well build a warehouse in the area, just to give, again, people a little bit, some more jobs, but also to give this the WoodVision furniture factory a place to store its products. There we go. And this will be filled with planed timber. And then if we had another one that stored paper, there we go. I'm thinking that we actually might need to do something else. Let's move this here. Let's get a sort of a frontage road. Let's turn that angle, so there we go. And then we'll have this right there. Excellent. And then we will add the other warehouse right there. And this one will use paper. Well, there we go. I was just about to announce the completed WoodVision yard. But we now have a busy town, 4,600 people. We have city planning services, leisure and tourism unique buildings, oil industry specialization, tourism specialization, a whole bunch of new policies, and a whole bunch of new roads. But most importantly, we have things like the fishing pier, the bus station, and police headquarters. Oh, we have just placed warehouses. I just placed the warehouses. You know what? I think those two warehouses are going to be fine. If it's not, we can always come back and make them a little bit bigger later on. But where are all of these furniture goods going to be sold, you may be asking yourself? And the answer is here, in the big box store. And I don't like big box stores. I hate them, actually. But we are going to build something here. And if this is going to be the one entrance, we need a secondary entrance somewhere probably along here. Right? So between these two areas, we are going to have massive, absolutely massive parking lots. Just like this, all the way across. Boom. And then we're going to have another area of parking lots as soon as I take the planning road and take that out a little bit further. Because the problem with big box stores, at least to me, is the completely ridiculous waste of space. that so many of them are. It's just parking lots. It's absolutely infuriating the amount of space that we devote to the car. I honestly think that for a lot of people, because of just, the averages of like parking spaces and things, that we devote more space in Canada to the average car than we do to the average human. And to me, that's insane. That's insane. And there we go, friends. The basis of our big box story. It's just a parking lot. But to be honest, that's exactly what most of these big box stores are. And in fact, I'm starting to wonder if we can't get like a couple of additional spaces up in here. So if we were to do something like this, and then bring this in here, and bring those across there, maybe even, like, oops, we did something like that, increased the width of this one, but then took this and linked it up here, this might actually work. Then we can put like a Tim Hortons or a Harvey's or something in along here. In fact, you know what this also screams out for? An additional connection. Right in there. There we go. Okay, now with all of this, let's start getting our businesses. We definitely want a Tim Hortons right here, because this is going to be what people are going to come in for, because Canadians, yeah, it's a stereotype, but in many cases it can be true. Love me some Timmies. There we go. It's actually more inviting to the front, to this crossroad, than it is to the people inside the parking lot. But hey, that's actually kind of par for the course. Tim Hortonses aren't exactly known for their aesthetics. But I also do want a Canadian Tire, which is a massive big box store. It's basically like if Walmart were Canadian and actually started off from being a like a tire company, not a tire company, but like a what's the word I'm looking for here? An auto body shop, it would be Canadian Tire. There we go. And what else for our big box store? There's going to be a Best Buy Electronics. Let's get a Best Buy probably somewhere in here. There we go. And I'm not too worried about this particular slope, because if anybody's going to be cutting into a slope, it's going to be a big box store. And there's going to be probably a Michaels. Yep, there we go. Oh, that's a big one. So let's get the Michaels beside the Canadian Tire. But I do know that I want the Michaels to be the same level as the Canadian Tire, so this road should probably be higher. There we go. I also want a road that kind of goes back here. Fantastic, because we do have this area back here, and I'm thinking this is going to be a parking space for employee cars or things like this. There we go. We can actually delete that little bit. And we can probably actually bring this out here a smidge. Maybe even bring it out there? Nope, that looks stupid. That looks stupid. Do not like it. There we go. So we have employee parking back there, and we have everything up here. Okay. So now let's get some other smaller commercial buildings, and this is something I only learned about, find it a little ways ago. If we go to the growable, if we click the growable option, we can actually start to sort by different things. So let's just go just for lower density commercial, and Big time brewery. What does that look like? Nope, that doesn't really look big box store to me. But something like a Booster Juice? Yep, that's big box store. Something like a Boston Pizza? Yep, we'll move these around a little bit later on. But yep, that's definitely a big box store. Buffalo Wild Wings, yep. CIBC, yep. The CIBC actually has the most aesthetic entire model. So I'm thinking the CIBC building is what anchors this other side across from the Tim Hortons. So let's get just the LCBO, or is this the Pizza part? No, that's the LCBO. We're going to just drop that over there. So this is the part that's going to be facing the road. But even this side, it's not that bad. Like, this is a full 360-degree building, which I very much like. So this is just going to go right, probably there? A little bit further out. There we go. That's going to go there. The Tim Hortons is fine where it is. But if these are the only two that go there, that means this can actually be brought out to probably there. Before it starts to get too weird. There we go. And that means this part can also be stretched out this way. Fantastic. Fantastic. We're going to need to do some decal painting a little bit further down, but that's okay. Now, I think the Sobeys is going to have its own kind of a parking lot. So people that are just there for their groceries, they would just come in here and everything will be fine. We drop that down there. Fantastic. Okay. Slide you right in there. And now what goes on this corner? I'm thinking the Booster Juice. And we will remove those, the parking spots. And then the Global Pet Foods, because it matches the Booster Juice in terms of curb aesthetic. There we go. And then maybe the Five Guys ends up going right there. Just kind of slides in. That makes sense to me. In fact, you know what? Let's take this Five Guys and we'll move it just over to there. There we go. We can put some trees or something here. Excellent. The Best Buy, because now it looks like all of these are lined up together. The Best Buy slides in right there, right beside the Five Guys. You know what? As much as I hate big box stores, I'm not against this particular arrangement. This works for me. There we go. We have the second cup, the Talis Mobility, the Pizza, and the LCBO all right there. Although this one is slightly angled out, and that's going to annoy me, so let's fix that. And there you have it, folks. Way too many parking spots later. We have the full big box store. And yeah, it's not doing great because a lot of the buildings have been abandoned because the land value is low. But we do have everything that we need. We've got a Sobeys, we've got a Pet Value, we've got Booster Juice, we've got a Best Buy, we've got everything. Alcohol, art supplies, automotive supplies, hardware, Spanish hardware, L hardware, I guess. But we've got everything that we need in this big box store. I hate it. I mean, not the design. I enjoy the work that I've put into it. I'm proud of this. But I just hate big box stores in general. This angers me to no end. But everything functions. Everything functions. But let's go over here and complete the third task on our list, the Makwasaugen River Park. This is a massive park, 13,497 cells, and it's going to connect everybody. Like, if we take a look at this road right here, look at all those people that are walking across or biking across this bridge, this Belmont Bridge. Well, a lot of those people are going to be cutting through here. So the first thing we need to do, I think, is we need to figure out exactly where the entrances are going to be. And I'm thinking the main entrance, simply because we'd actually built this parking lot here specifically for it, is going to go right here. Bing! We now have a park. And that's great. But what we need to do is we need to go and we need to connect all of these entrances. We have 12 entrances to this park. Yo, that's a lot of entrances. But the other main part, now that we've got the entrances down, is we need to figure out where people are going to be able to cross the river. I know that I'm probably going to want a bridge somewhere over here before we get up to the escarpments, but I'm not really too worried about this side of the river just yet. So I'm thinking somewhere along here, because this is a fairly stable slope, and let's just get this across there. And that's only an elevation raise of, that's 0 elevation raise. That's fantastic. So let's get this right across there. All right, and I want another one somewhere down here. And that's that's an elevation drop of raise of 1 meter, so that's not bad. Now all we need to do is we need to start connecting the paths. And the great part about these nature reserve paths is that they flatten the terrain, so we don't need to worry about paths that are like skewed horizontally. That's way too close to the river, and it has created a little bit of a cliff. So we're just going to continue down here. Bing, bing, and right underneath that bridge. Now, connecting this entrance near the parking lot to the riverside is a little bit difficult, but actually, if we increase the height of this just a little bit, that appears to not be that bad. I mean, the slope is still pretty gnarly, but in terms of everything else, it's really not that bad. Let's continue. There we go. The north side of Makwasaugen is all connected. We've got, I mean, this entrance right here is a little steep. Hopefully kids don't toboggan down that in the winter. But let's start to figure out how things are going to work on the south side. There we go. We've got plenty of room underneath this bridge, because I actually checked into Canadian recommendations or requirements for bridge and tunnel height requirements, and you only need 3 meters for pedestrians. You need 5 meters for cars and trucks, and you need 7 meters for trains. But in terms of pedestrians, this should be doable. And that connects along that side. Let's just continue kind of keeping along par with the river. There we go. And this is going to just go down just like that. And then along these highway pillars. And yeah, we're going to have to move the water systems a little bit elsewhere just in order to connect to everything up here. But for now, that seems fine. But what we do need to do is we need to connect to this area. And this is going to be another steep entrance. So I kind of want to go kind of with the grain, or not with the grain, but with the slope and kind of honoring it just by going like that. There we go. And now this is just going to drop in. Yeah, there we go. That's not bad. I think that's pretty good, actually. And this, because the depth, or not the depth, the slope of these hills are a little bit gentler, we can be a little bit more creative with how these all meander and how they connect to one another. There we go. And let's just bring this kind of down there. And I think this works. Everybody can get to everywhere else. And I'm just wondering if it isn't too weird to get like a little connection like that. There we go. Everything connects to everywhere else. But is there a hill in between these two? No. Not that much. So I think we could do something like that just to make the crosstown route a little bit quicker for certain people. There we go. Makwasaugen River Park. What we do need to do, though, is we definitely need to connect this to everywhere else. And I do have something special for this little peninsula here. I have something specific in mind, and we will eventually come back to that. There we go, right between the pillars. I don't know if you guys can see that, but right between the pillar and the wall of that bridge part right there. It's just, you know, I personally, this is the kind of route that I would love to go on a hike. Because there's something about the underside of bridges, and I know this may be really strange. Oops, I did not want to get rid of that rock or the other rock in front of it. But the underside of bridges is just an absolutely fascinating structure. I consider it found art, right? Where it's not designed necessarily to be aesthetic. It's designed to be functional. But yet, the way that the geometry of these things kind of overlaps and the way that it creates patterns in and amongst itself is really quite aesthetically beautiful. And it is a 15-degree slope down, but I do believe that the effect is worth it. But maybe, well, actually it's flooding, so let's change that a little bit. Some of these things do need to be tweaked by hand a little bit, but once things are done, yeah, like especially this one right here, seeing as it's underwater. Alright, so everything connects. I do want kind of a pier to go out here. Oh, that's too low. And let's increase the height of this one as well. There we go. And then just loop this around. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Now I'm curious. Oh, we still need to go to the other side. Haha. We're not testing the numbers just yet. We need to connect to the other side. And the way that I want these to connect is I want to just build a straight section right underneath the river. Or right underneath the bridge, rather. There we go. Now, I know that they'll be walking through this wall. But there's nothing I can do. But imagine there's like a portal, a door in this wall that lets the people walk on the bridge underneath it and across to the other side. And that's the vibe that I'm going for here. That's what I want to try to accomplish. That's the vision. And I'm thinking, that this is kind of a decent way to do that. Even though I think that this entire bridge can be dropped down just a smidge. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then we can just continue going back down on the other side of the river with the pathways. There we go. The path network of the Makwasaugen River Park that connects both North and South Makwasaugen across the Andrew River to the new residential area in the waterfront. I enjoy this quite a bit. It's so much more appealing to me than the big box store was, and you can already see 44 people per 3 minutes. And this is just because people are using it to get from one side of town to the other. And it's just absolutely kind of ridiculous how many people are using it. Like, a lot of people are still using the bridge. The earlier bridge. But look at how many people are going through Makwasaugen River Park. That and that one. It's astounding. And if we could just get more people off of that into the park, and I think that would be even better. But this is fun. This is beautiful. I very much enjoy this. Yeah. Actually, this one may be a little bit too close. So let's just move this one just around that way, and then that one, just to create a curve. Just like that. There we go. And because this is indeed supposed to be a natural area, let's just get some smatterings of trees in here. If people want to play football, then they can go to Unger Park. But this is supposed to be a walk on the wild side, I guess? This is where people connect to nature, what Georgian Bay is, the rugged beauty of it. There we go. We're not going to completely fill it with trees, but there are going to be quite a bit. Now, I said I wanted to do something with this point over here, and I do. In fact, I want to get rid of all of these fallen trees. But some of the things, some of the assets that you can put in the nature park, I think would go absolutely perfectly in here. It's ironically none of the ones that we actually have open for us already, but something along the lines of the floating cafe. Where's the fishing pier? Something like the fishing pier could go right out. Actually, the fishing pier going out here would be pretty cool. We can just move it to drop it in right there. And how does this work? Is it functional? Oh, that needs electricity. Okay. Rather than drop a power line through here, let's just put a transformer right there, which will bridge the gap, and it will also give us a little bit of power as well. And this appears to now be flooded. Is that flooded? No. So the fishing pier is great. Lovely, right out there in the middle of the Makwasaugen River. If we got rid of the water pumps, it would be even prettier. But this area right here, I want it to be a place where you can not necessarily go camping, because I don't think camping is what we want to do in this area. But we can encourage people to sit around, maybe get a campfire, something like this going, and just really enjoy what's going on. Wow, that is a very strange... angle. So let's do that instead. And that is a super steep slope. But it's not that bad. It's not that bad for people that are walking. You're not allowed to camp here, but you can certainly go here for a picnic. So let's get a campfire site there. Let's get a campfire site there. Let's get another one there. Let's get some picnic benches. Is that a picnic bench? It's a table set. So yeah, let's get one there. There. We're just throwing these in here and there, just to... Oops. Get another 2 there, and then another 3 there. And then we'll just get some folding chairs, as if people are already kind of out here. There we go, just sitting close by the fire, but not too close. There we go. And we'll just get it at like 2 or 3 out here. Right? So these kinds of little areas that I think are just really kind of cute, and they do really fit with what we're trying to build here. Also, I think we should add signs to every entrance. As I was adding the entrance signs to everything, we've already leveled up our park. We already have 538 visitors. This is insane. This is insane. But what this does is it gives us access to some of these viewing decks. And one viewing deck, I know this long one, I want it to kind of... Actually, you know what? I think another fishing pier on the other side also makes sense. So let's get that right in there. And this should actually give us the entertainment we need in order to get to the next level. Yeah, that's 537 out of 500 right there. But let's go for the observation decks, viewing platform, and one of them is actually going to go right here, right on the edge, because there's like a cliff, right? So if we put this here, you can go out here, and you can like look out over the valley and the river, right? Which means this tree is probably in the way, as is that one. There we go. That does kind of open things up. I think that's a great place for a little viewing platform. And I think the second one ends up going right there. We are, however, going to bring that out a smidge, kind of out to right there. And then we are going to add a pathway for it. Fantastic. Although that pathway does change the rock texture a little bit. Because again, going out here, standing on the river, yeah, you can like look up the river like this. You can kind of look down the river and see that way. I think it's beautiful. I think it's absolutely stunning. Again, we've got 751 out of the 500 entertainment we need for the next level. This Makwasaugen River Park. I don't know if you can hear, but bling, 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 bling. People are loving this. As am I. Like, this is why I chose this map, because of all the river paths. Like, we are going to continue the river pathway all the way up here to this gorgeous waterfall, right? We're going to continue the paths all the way up to here, these waterfalls, and this ruined house on the hill there. We're going to continue it all the way around. This is going to be, like, yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about the future of the Makwasaugen River Park and the pathway trails. In fact, if this becomes a 5-star, I might actually split off the Andrew River trails and have multiple level 5 parks throughout the city just based on the walking trails. But this is exactly what I was hoping for. And we're gonna, yeah, like, just need to add in some more trees down here. Some more trees up this way. There we go. And maybe some on that rock slope right there. Just kind of separate the little campfire areas. Like, I'm enjoying this. We're making money. Everything is good. We did get a whole bunch of new city planning policies. Let's encourage biking to reduce traffic congestion. And it's actually the only one that kind of makes sense for us right now. I mean, maybe recycle plastics. Preferring parks. They draw 10% more visitors, but we don't really need the visitors. Because I don't know about if you guys experience this, but I have this bug where every time I reload a save, the visitor count drops back down to 0 and it starts to recalculate them. So you just gotta let things go for a while. Like Catholic School Park, we've certainly had more than 348 visitors since we first placed it like 3 episodes ago. Big Gee Buddy Arena Park should certainly have more than 1,933. That's only how many have visited it during this episode. Or during this recording session, rather. 548 people for Twin Pines Lake Park. Nah, we should definitely be having more than that. But it's a bug. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? The big box stores... Yeah, some of these places are abandoned because they're not getting enough value. And that's okay. That's okay, but it is placed there. We have everything filled in with the new residential area. I'm very pleased with this episode. We've done a lot. Oh, the editing is going to take me a while to cut through all this footage, but we've done a lot. We have the Makwasaugen River Park, we have the big box store, and we have the structure for the future growth of this town. Maybe we start putting in, some more residential areas up here. We've got some warehouses. Big things are happening in Little Makwasaugen. And for those of you that are watching, that have been watching from the beginning, thank you very much. I really do appreciate this. You guys, all of you, are fantastic. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if there's anything that you would like to see, anything that you think I can do better in this build, or in the videos of the explanations, please let me know. I can't do better without that feedback. So thank you very much. Most importantly, and I really do mean this, have a fantastic day. Please have a fantastic day, and I will see you all next time in the wild, wonderful world of Makwasaugen, Ontario. Bye, everybody.